guess I'm a wholesale.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm particularly fascinated by his life at sea. I know you passed over some of the things around those pages. Did you have anything else on him at sea, or is it just general observations from Dana?
it's just from Dana and Jimenez, because to this day, I suspect he wasn't well educated, so he didn't take down his own notes. Yeah, there's nothing else that I've found so far. I'm still looking, but I don't think I'll find anything.
Well, I'm looking at some of the sources quoted by the gal you did research with, the Belgian gal that wrote for
Smiths? Yeah,
wrote
Kristen
for
Smiths.
American Belgian magazine, I think.
Okay.
Bunch of great original documents. You find Dutch over or Anton Dietrich. The Dietrich name spelled several different ways.
Yes.
Dietrich, sort of a Latinized spelling and a Germanized spelling and a Dutch spelling. So yeah, like you say, it's not completely clear what language he would have spoken.
Yes, sir.
Do you know much of what Dutchover did relative to the stagecoach timing here? What was his role?
You heard of Henry Skillman? I think there's a marker down the road.
We're not from this immediate area, so
Okay.
we don't know as much.
Henry Skillman was also a Mexican-American War guy, and that's part of my paper, but I don't have time to go into. Ended up becoming a Confederate guy during the Civil War and was killed, chased down by the Union. Skillman first got the first contract to do the mail run for this portion of Texas. It went from St. Louis to San Francisco, but the Texas portion, he got the first contract.
Okay.
And then Butterfield, I think he held it for maybe a year, and that's where I think he met up with Dutchover and Wallace back in the day. And then Butterfield took over, and then he set up stations, that's a whole nother story in itself, because they were constantly attacked. So my suspicion is that Wallace knew him from the war, and maybe even took him under his wing because he would have been a young guy. And typically that happens in the military when you've got infantry and guys that don't know nothing from nothing. And you take them under your wing, and if they're worthwhile, they'll learn quickly and survive, and he did. And so I suspect that he trusted him because a lot of the people that were hired were ex-military or lawmen, because they understood risks and they trusted each other in crisis situations. So I suspect that's why he was brought on as a shotgun guy. What do you call it? What's the term they use? Riding shotgun, if you will. So
Right.
Though I think they had different weapons at the time. And then I think he continued to work for Butterfield, but not as security. And I think he might have maintained one of the stations here. I'm not sure. Anybody know about that locally? There was a station here.
Yeah.
So my guess is that this was part of his route, became familiar with it, and that's when he started to settle in here. But there's a book written by, I think it's Liely, on the Overland Trail. If you want to read,
Okay.
I just brought it with me. Anyway, he writes extensively on the Overland Trail. He mentions Dutchover and a lot of the contracts that were happening. I'm sorry, did I cover your question?
Yeah, you did. It gave me an idea.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Do you know what dates that he came to this area? Have you tracked down any specific dates?
Yeah, I have not confirmed the exact dates because I was trying to figure out. He got married in 1860. I found his marriage certificate written in Spanish, from what I can tell, and it was in Santa Isabel, I believe, which is part of Ojinaga area, across from Presidio.
But did he get married before he came here or after?
I think after, because I think he was working for the state. The stagecoach ended something in the early 60s, that route. So I think it was before. My guess was that it wasn't safe, so his wife stayed in Mexico because at least the first four children were born in Mexico. If you go to the census, it'll state that we're born in Mexico. So that's when he got out of the military and what he did. He was in South Texas. There's some of the reports. I'm not sure what he did between that time and then he got into the stagecoach business. I think that's when he might have met his wife. I think he hung out, because one report is that he went to New Brunswick, and I guess it didn't click with the Germans who were, I guess, Protestant, and he was a Dutch Catholic. Although they're kind of cousins, the language, maybe they didn't communicate well either, so.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You wonder how if he spoke Dutch, when he married a lady from Mexico, how did you talk to each other? How did you say, hey, you want to get married?
Well, I want to find that church and see if I can figure it out. Yeah, that's interesting. So that's why I'm thinking he developed more of a Spanish language and culture in a lot of ways.
And maybe spoke Spanish.
Yeah, because if all his descendants mostly spoke Spanish and some English. You never hear of a European language. I haven't heard of European language, so I still got to do a lot of research here in Fort Davis. I mean, there's still a lot. I can go deeper in this, and I tend to do that. But like I said, there's stories within the stories. I mean, just the sea life is one. The two battles are another one. And then I didn't get to the Overland Trail question.
Well, I read a couple articles by one of your relatives out of Alpine, published in the 1980s, that said that he acquired English during his Mexican-American War service with the U.S. military, and that he met his wife, Refugia Cora, in El Paso. So he, right after the Mexican-American War, as he was about to sign up with the stagecoach service. I don't know if that's true or not, because all this stuff seems rather.
See, the primary sources are out of the Ojinaga area.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit away
Right,
from.
quite a bit away from it.
And Scobie did refer to her as a Spanish woman. So I don't know if he meant Spanish is that she's a Mexican and spoke Spanish, or a Spaniard.
Right.
So, but again, she was, the census says she was born in Mexico. I have primary sources on her marriage certificate, something else I believe. So that's what tends to believe that she's.
Yeah, it's just that everything I try to research is a little vague and
Yeah.
contradictory.
So I try to go to the primary sources. The way I approach is go to the primary sources that are supposedly fact, but even some of the age things were different, the dates. So, and then I try to correlate that with events that happened and try to get a picture. So I'm trying to tell a story the best I can. It's not, if I was an intel guy, I don't know if it was a high degree of confidence, but as I learned, history is about storytelling in some cases, which coming from an intel side, that didn't seem acceptable to me, but oh well, I'm not the professor who schooled me, so. There was a question over here or no? Maybe not, okay. So, Dutch Over was quite a man, and if you have any more questions, I can leave you my card. I'm still going to do more research on it. I tend to want to go to Okinawa and try to find that church if it's not too rough right now.
Oh, yeah.
And come back here and do some research. Yes, ma'am. You can ask something. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's all I got for you. Thank you.
Well, Jose.